What if you were to spend 2 weeks checklisting that thing you do on a daily basis and systemizing it, and then identifying the best person you can lay your hands on, and then you step back into just focusing on the management process around that? I bet you that person can probably do the job better than you can, because they're focused on that, not everything. There's a framework that I use. Actually, it comes from one of the programs that invested in Action Coach, which is a program I use a lot. I'm part of the Action Coach global community, and simply it's dreams, goals, plan, learn, action, results. So start with your dreams. Start with what is it I'm trying to achieve.
Welcome to De-Stress Your Business, the podcast where we show you how to get incredible results in your business, but without the constant stress. I'm Alexis Kingsbury, a serial entrepreneur and founder at AirManual. Now, many business owners start their journey with dreams of freedom, only to find themselves tied to their businesses, stuck in the day-to-day and unable to fully enjoy the life that they envisioned. The truth is, building a successful business isn't just about the end game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And the key is to align your business to the life that you want to live right from the start. But how do you strike that balance? How do you shape a business that doesn't just demand your time, but enriches your life? Well, today I'm speaking to Sanjiv Dodhia, a seasoned business coach who has spent over 35 years helping business owners create sustainably profitable enterprises that function smoothly even without their constant involvement. And Sanjiv specializes in helping entrepreneurs working on their business strategically rather than getting buried in the day-to-day operations. And his approach goes beyond mere business mechanics. He goes deep into how you can achieve financial freedom, how you can create a legacy, and most importantly, live the life that you desire. So if you're ready to look at your business through a new lens, one that aligns with your life goals, I'm sure you'll gain immense value from today's conversation. Sanjiv, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Alexis. Good to be here.
Yeah, and I mean, you've helped over 100 business owners and it may be hundreds of business owners to grow their businesses in a way that works without them. Perhaps can we kick off by sharing an example where aligning the business to the owner's life goals has led to kind of breakthrough results and you've got there?
Yeah, brilliant. 100 plus is probably the count I've got. So recently, actually, an example of a video case study we shot recently comes to mind. So a guy who owns a set of photographic studios, Mike, and the story he tells in that video, I think is a good illustration. When I first met him, he was buried in the day-to-day of his business. And it was a £6 million UK business, 4 studios, and they just opened one in the US. But he was doing everything. He was the kind of hub, and all the spokes came off him. And what he'll tell you is that the process of alignment was the pivotal point. And what do we do by the alignment? So he had this £6 million business employing 80 plus people, and he was heavily involved in all the day-to-day processes, all the admin, task managing for the large part. So and everyone's coming to him for the answers, and a lot of the processes, day-to-day processes, from banking to bank reconciliations, invoicing, etc. You think about all the routine processes in the business were all kind of in some way, shape, or form dependent on him. So we had the alignment process where I just start by asking some simple questions. What's the end game here, Mike? What are you looking to achieve? What are your goals personal goals as well as the business related goals, and got him to step out of the day to day and think about the big picture, think about those dreams, the reason he kind of set up in business, and so on. And actually, through that process and asking a series of questions, what he's told me is that he realized that he can achieve those things, and probably sooner than he thought, by stepping out of it. And that was the start of a process of structuring his business, structuring his team, systemizing the business. So taking the routine tasks away from him and empowering members of his team to own those responsibilities and own the processes, so that he can just focus on orchestrating the big picture. So let me tell you the end of the story, which is he's still got that business, the UK business, which has pretty much flatlined over the last few years. Mm-hmm. But that business that he was buried in, he now spends an hour a week on that business as the principal shareholder. Mm-hmm. He merged two of the UK entities. He brought the some of the core kind of operating processes, the administrative processes together. He shifted that whole the administrative strength center to Manchester, which is where one of the studios was mm-hmm. operating, and one of the minority shareholders was managing that under her responsibility. Reduce the costs. So that business is a highly profitable business, which has maintained that revenue line with an hour a week of his time. That allowed him to then focus on the growth business, which mm-hmm. is the US, which is where all the growth and expansion opportunity was, which they've now grown to $35 million, wow. was the last year's turnover in less than 5 years from really being a minimal start when we first had that alignment session, and now they've got the next phase of his plan is to exit the business, and they're in discussions with some significant opportunities where they might sell all or part of that business. Along the way, he's ticked off a lot of personal goals. So feel free to ask me any questions around the process, but hopefully that gives you the kind of outline.
Yeah, I love that, and of course that aligns so heavily to like what we talk about in the podcast, de-stress your business, and what we do at AirManual and so on is that this is kind of the whole point, right? Is that I guess there's two sides to it. One is how do you live the life that you want, and what I will delve into that and what that looks like, and making sure that you're actually. I think I like the way that you put it. When Mike got clear about that, he realized that was actually a lot closer than he thought it was. I think that second point as well is actually when he was working more towards living the life he wanted and extracting himself from the business more, actually unlocked growth as well, which I think often people think it's the other way around, right? It's the, either I've got to work really hard in the business to grow it, or I can choose to have this lovely lifestyle business, but I can't have both. And actually our experience has been the problem is that if you hustle in the business continuously, particularly as you grow, you get to a point where that starts to hold you back. And I think that's interesting to dive into. So I do want to dive into that more, but first I want to pick up on something right at the beginning of that story. You said that this is a business owner who's buried in the day-to-day, and yet they've managed to get to 6 million revenue and a team of 80. Help me understand, how is that even possible? Because for me, I think my businesses have been able to grow having kind of pulled myself out of some of the day-to-day, which allowed me to do the growth stuff. How could he even get to that level of growth? Because some business owners might be in that situation, go, well, I must have been doing something right to get to this point, and they might even be worried about losing the magic, right? Like if they've got to that point and so on. So how is it even possible that he was able to be so stuck in the day-to-day, as you say, bank reconciliations and so on, yet at that level of scale?
How did he get there in the first place? Well, by being really good as a technician in the business. In the, they've got, 3 or 4 main processes. Any business has got 4 or 5 main processes, right? What we call marketing, the generating the leads, sales, converting those into customers, and service, keeping those, delivering to your promise, and keeping those customers fulfilled, fulfilling your promise. Then looking after the money, finance, and then the administrative processes, oiling the wheels, if you like, the people, processes, the systems, the administrative. So how did he get there? By becoming really good at each one of those, as a technician in each one of those pillars. And that's why he was working incredibly hard, because he was driving the marketing, he was driving the sales, he was the chief marketing officer, the chief sales officer, the chief financial officer, and the chief admin officer, if you like, admin, HR, etc., etc. So 5 to 7 hats in his business, which is okay when you can get the business. A lot of business get stuck at quite often. I've seen get stuck at around the £1 million turnover, just to use some averages. Why is that? Because they can do all of those jobs as the principal in the businesses, but then you run out of hours, you run out of energy, you run out of motivation, you run out of just the ability to pull those levers anymore. So he managed to get to 6 million, but by his admission, it was a really punishing schedule, and he was overwhelmed, and he couldn't see the wood for the trees, and couldn't see how he could grow it any further. And it takes a bit of perspective to look at what he's doing and say, hold on a minute, why are you doing all of those things every day? Because that's when we come to the concept of leverage, right? Which is, if you're doing the same work over and again for I can't remember how long he'd been in business, but 10 years or so. If you're still doing the same thing you were doing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and so on, where's the leverage here?
Yeah.
What if you were to spend 2 weeks checklisting that thing you do on a daily basis and systemizing it, and then identifying the best person you can lay your hands on, whether it's one of your employees or a freelancer or outsource, and get them doing it, and then you step back into just focusing on the management process around that. Is that job being done well, consistently, accurately, reliably, to the quality that you want? And then spend your time actually tweaking that, teaching that, and over time, I bet you that person can probably do the job better than you can, because they're focused on that, not everything. So that it was a leverage that was missing, because I saw him in operation, and you'd see a queue of people at his desk. Mike, have you got a minute? Mike, not sure what to do about this. Mike. It was endless. And just observing that for a couple of hours kind of told me where part of the issue was. So I don't know if that answers your question. How did he get there? He got there by being really good at doing all the jobs. But there comes a point where you just don't have the time, or you can't take on any more stress, as he was, feeling burnt out, to take it any further. Then what? And
Yeah.
that's where a lot of business owners get stuck, right? And that's how they don't actually see the end result that they started their business for in the first place. Those dreams and goals.
Yeah, and I think that lack of clarity can come through a number of ways, right? Like sometimes it's because they didn't start the business out with a particularly clear vision of where they wanted to get to. They maybe did it out of necessity because they lost their job, or maybe they did it out of taking it over from another family member, or maybe they were really keen to start a business but didn't really start with a personal passion or anything. It was, they needed to get it off the ground. And I think that can be hard because that is where most business owners start, and yet over time that needs to shift, and that you need clarity of the vision for the business to create something really compelling for your customers, for your team. But then also you need that clarity of what you want for your personal life, and then getting that to align can sometimes feel hard because do your team and your customers really care that you want to have a amazing holiday each year, or
Yeah,
a
of
house in a
course.
particular location or whatever? Like they don't care, and so that can be hard. How do you, when you're speaking to business owners who are looking to perhaps step out of the working in the business and instead work on the business, and perhaps they need that clarity, they need to be able to see what that vision is? What's the process that you would go through? How, are there any tools or exercise that you'd recommend to help get that business owner clear on what their vision, life, etc., needs to look like instead?
Yeah, no, let me share with you. There's a framework that I use. Actually, it comes from one of the programs that invested in Action Coach, which is a program I use a lot. I'm part of the Action Coach global community, and simply it's dreams, goals, plan, learn, action, results. So start with your dreams. Start with what is it I'm trying to achieve. In his case, um, he was really driven by financial freedom. And why financial freedom? So I can have time and the money to do all these wonderful things that I really want to do. Um, and they weren't necessarily the work that was doing in the photographic studio. So start with that. Start with those personal goals that connect with your purpose, that really the end in mind, if you like. Stephen Covey's begin with the end in mind, and then look at, okay, what are the things I need to achieve to deliver that. So in his case, his best route for achieving that was to actually grow the value of the business asset,
Mm-hmm.
not just the profits and cash that came from the business, but actually grow the value of the business asset. So at some point, that can turn into a life changing amount of money. But not to say that um, um, uh, the profits and the cash along the way don't help. But it was that. Okay, so to get that, uh, what would you need to do? I'd need to have a substantively bigger business, not this business I've got, but it needs to be much bigger, like 5x, 10x bigger. Okay, so what idea strategies have you got to achieve that? Well, we've got this incredible market in the US, which we've tested
Mm-hmm.
out. We're just in a small way, but it's multiple times the size of the market we've got here, and it's actually not as saturated as here. So if I had time, I'd go after that. All right. So what's stopping you having the time? You can see how those
Mm.
questions are helping peel back the layers of the onion to get to where the solution might lie. right? So, which is exactly
Yeah.
what we did, is get to, if that's the dream, then let's look at how you're going to get there, and then what's stopping you starting that process
I think the
of getting there, and continuing that process of getting there. And let's look at what you would need to do
Mhm.
to remove those obstacles, the interference, in order to get there, to realize that potential that you're convinced exists. In his case, the answer was pretty simple. It's not always that simple, which was get out of my own way. Because I've got guys who've been working with me for 10 years, then actually with a bit of direction and a bit of process and a bit of management and a bit of challenge and support, actually they can do this job, if not 100% as well as I can do, maybe 80% as well as I can do. So what would be the benefit of doing that? I work with a firm of lawyers in the last couple of years, where these guys for over 15, 20 years just buried in the lawyering in the business, again as technicians, and not really seeing the business as a business. They just do what they've done, which is get the work in, deliver the work, get the work in, deliver the work. Business wasn't operating profitably. Cash was always tight. And like, after this long, why is it that way? And so again, I went back to, guys, why are you in business? What's the purpose? Just to pay the bills? Just to uh, um, just to do your lawyering, or have your goals moved beyond that? Because I understand when we start out, that to get good at what we do, to master it as the technician, as a craftsman, that's an objective. But then you are the partners in this business. So what is it you want? Well, one of them's got his eye on retirement and needs to really think about succession planning. The other partner has actually got his eye on becoming the guy who drives the firm, moves it forward. Oh, right. Okay. So that's where you want to go to. And in order for you to retire and for you to be able to take this firm on, move it forward, what do you need to do? What do you need to put in place? They hadn't asked themselves that question.
Wow.
So once you start asking that question, you start getting some real clarity on what needs to be done. That doesn't necessarily mean they know how to do it. So I've got this thing that I use, called the formula for change. D times V is greater than R. Now, you'll ask me, what's that all about? D times V is greater than R. Formula for change. We all have a natural resistance to change, right? We'll stay in our comfort zone, do the thing we've always done, and not kind of step out of it, because we're kind of uncomfortable about the uncomfortable. Now, there's two things that drive you to overcome that, right? Either dissatisfaction or vision. The D is a dissatisfaction, V is the vision. So either Tony Robbins talks about you're either doing things because you're trying to get away from pain or move towards gain.
Yeah.
Right? Again, same concept, different words. So you got to kind of, in order to fire people up to take action, you got to tap into the either, I gotta get away from this pain because this is just boring the crap out of me, or stressing me out. Sorry, my lights have gone off. I'm just gonna wave them back on. Sorry about that. So either you're trying to get away from that pain and you need to tap into that, or think about the vision of the dreams of the future that you're trying to create. but as a coach, I have to kind of really dig into that to engage the emotion, because when we engage the emotion, then you start kind of having the commitment to take major action. Then it's a question of knowing what to do. I've got the reason for doing it. I'm up for it. I've got the commitment, but I don't know what to do next. And that's where I can start offering some of the tools, the strategies, the approaches to start doing it. And then it's a question of taking the first step, and then next step, and the next step. So the alignment process is designed to tap into that first and foremost, to create that fire and the and help with the clarity. Then it's a question of turning that into a roadmap and a plan, roadmap, set of goals, and then a roadmap, and a plan, which is the how to, and then breaking the plan down into bite-sized chunks, and then having the discipline and focus of just working on the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I really, really like that approach, because I think, as you say, when you tap into what is the emotion behind it, what is the real thing that they care about, and pulling that apart is really powerful. I particularly like your point around taking a business owner who says, "Oh yeah, I want financial freedom," but then you have to say, "Well, but why? Like, what is it you want? You want money so that you can so that you've got freedom of your time, but how do you want to use that time freedom?" And that's often a challenge I see, is that when people don't have the clarity of what they want to do instead, then it makes it hard for them to see where the opportunities are. So, like, a great example of that client where there was loads of potential for them to grow the US market, but that wasn't something they could even entertain as a thought when they're absolutely stuck in the business. However, the other thing that I see, aside from lack of clarity on where to spend the time, is this sense of resistance around, yes, but I can't do that right now. And I think in the example of the client that you had, where they literally have a queue of people by their desk constantly saying, "Hey, Mike, I need you to look at this," do you find that they even struggle with the idea of then taking the time out to even think about dreams and do all that? Like, how do you then create enough space for them to see that actually, yeah, you can do this? Because I mean, we've had that ourselves at AirManual, when we'll have a client who says, "Yeah, look, Alexis, I really need to free up my time. I'm stressed out, overwhelmed. I need to hand these things off to my team." We go, "Great, and we can show you exactly how to do it, and you can do it in an hour and a half, and so on. We can do this amazing thing." And they go, "Oh yeah, but I'm just really busy at the moment, so maybe." And you're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, we could save you dozens of hours, like, from next week. Why would you hold back? And it's that same block of, but I'm stuck now.
Totally.
Like, what's your perspective on that? How do you experience that? How do you, like, overcome that? Because I think we're all victim to that, right? I think we all have that tendency to go, "Oh yes, I definitely need to do this, but not right now because I'm so busy," and forget, like, the whole point is that you can free up more time so that you can grow it. Like, how do you
look,
break
Alexis,
through that?
I get that all the time, right? With most clients, most business owners who engage with me, we get that, right? So the first thing is, show me where your time is going. I'll get them to do a time audit, not where they think their time is going. Actually, let's record your time for 2 weeks, maybe more, and let's look at where it's actually gone, and let's analyze it. And I use this kind of matrix of value on the horizontal axis, low, medium, high, and skills, knowledge, experience, ability to get results, competency, if you like, low, medium, high. And then say, right, let's look at all these tasks that you've done over this period of 2 weeks. Let's say you've that's 120 hours. Let's look at where those hours have gone, and let's put the actual tasks in the category of high value, high skill, low value, low skill, and everything in between, right? and then you can zone that up. There's what you call technician work, or even lower than technician work. Just call it clerical admin. Just basic skills require no skill. Then next level technician work, next level managerial work, and then owners work. Yeah, we've all got. Let's make this really simple. Something around 2,000 hours of productive work. If you're doing a 40 odd hour week, roughly for 50 weeks a year, 40 times 50, 2,000 hours. So where are those 2,000 hours are going? And in the lawyer's case, right, as an example, senior partners in their firm, their billable rate is somewhere in the region of 350 pounds an hour. Now, is all of their 2,000 hours being charged out at a billable rate of 350 pounds an hour? Or do you think they were doing other things that were maybe at the other end of the spectrum, at the 15 pounds an hour, doing basic stuff like basic admin stuff, routine work, like preparing a file for invoicing, or what I call that sort of secretarial admin level of work, which they could easily employ somebody for £15 an hour to do. So every hour that they were spending doing that stuff or anything else below that highest value per hour is costing their business how much? Well, you could do the maths, right? 300 quid minus 15 quid. If you're doing 10 hours of that, how much is that? How much is that costing the business? And if you just stop doing that thing for, let's say it is 10 hours, and let's say we give ourselves back 10 hours and we employ somebody at £15 an hour. So to get that job done going forward costs £150 an hour. And they give themselves 10 hours back. Now, they might redeploy 5 of those hours onto billable work at their charge out rate at £300 an hour. 5 of those, right? 5 times 300, £1,500, pay 150 to get 1,500. And the other 5 hours, let's bank that and get you working on the business instead of...
To create more sales opportunities, or
to
whatever.
create more opportunity in the direction of where you want to grow this business. You're the rainmaker in the business. Maybe the first area you should focus on is how do you go and secure next lot of work, or how do you hire the next senior solicitor, or how do you really embed the culture and the values of this business so that you don't hire the wrong people and you can hold to account the people you've got. All of this stuff that at the moment you're not doing. How about we redeploy that? So it starts with the show me where your time's going, and let's objectively look at that. And honestly, once I hold the mirror up and show them what I'm seeing as somebody who's got no axe to grind, totally objective, look at that and say, well, it's bloody obvious to me how you can create more time. What do you think? Most of the time, the penny drops, and they really get on the program to say, I can't be doing any more of that. I'm costing my business. I'm doing work that I don't enjoy. I'm not particularly good at it, and it's a grind. All right, so there's some good reasons to make a change then. Right, let's talk about how you're going to make that change. What discipline is it going to take? What focus is it going to take? What tools do we need to introduce to do that? Which goes to some of the stuff you guys do, right? If we want to teach somebody, how can we make it simpler? How can we simplify the teaching of it? Well, by checklisting it is a good start, isn't it? And a documented process, and then taking time and trouble to train it, and then putting a management wrap around that so that we can see the results of that. and then tweak it, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think we can unblock the time challenge 99% of the time by getting people to see where their time's actually going. Because it's not the question that we haven't got enough time. I think the truth is it's not a priority. That's why we don't make time for it, and it's not a priority because we haven't thought about it. Because we're just doing the do.
Yeah, and I think it feels like we undervalued the opportunity cost, right? I think like the example with the lawyer is a really nice one because, as you say, you've got very direct line to billable hours of saying, look, they can directly, if they can deliver, if they've got a client that they can do work for, they can bill that time. And so I was thinking, you're talking about like doing admin work that they could be passing off for £15 an hour, but even like driving to a client or whatever, like that's time where if they're doing the driving, they would be better off in the back of the car having someone else driving with them making the calls and doing the work to, potentially, let's say it's 2 hour journey each way. That's in the case of £300 an hour, it's £600 each way. That's a lot of chauffeur time that you can pay for.
It's a brilliant example. Absolutely right. Saving a wage is costing a fortune. Not investing in a piece of software that makes you twice as productive, again, it's costing you a fortune, right? I think every single time, time is our most precious commodity, and business owners who have got 20 years, 30 years of experience and knowledge and tools, for them to carry on doing all the basic jobs in their business and not leveraging that knowledge, not just leveraging their time, but not leveraging their knowledge and their experience, I think is a big miss, and it's costing them a fortune. I think the business case for investment is really, really straightforward, because I go back to, all right, if we can free you up for that much time, then what's your level of confidence that you can repurpose that time to create a multiple of the cost you would have saved by not employing somebody to do that, or not employing a system to do that? And usually the answer is, well, my confidence is really high. So then what's stopping you doing that?
Yeah, and I think that's key, because I see so many examples where until you start thinking about it, until you get asked those questions, there's a temptation to assume that, oh well, there's not, what else would I do? Like if I wasn't doing this, it's not like I've got a immediate sale that's come up that I need to deal with, or a load of opportunities. Otherwise, that's where I'd be spending my time. Like, honestly, I would. But I think, as you say, it's actually, you do need the space so that you can even think in that right way. So that, hypothetically, if you take that 4-hour round trip to see a client, and say, rather than driving it, you're going to be in the back. Now you're sat there, you've freed up that 4 hours. Now the goal is, okay, how are you going to generate this amount of business? And I think that's the thing that I think people sometimes struggle with is, oh, will I really make good use of the time? And I think that's it's a sad thing in many ways, that we don't trust ourselves sometimes to make better use of the time when there's a bit of admin job or whatever that could be done instead. But it's a really important mindset, right? So that you can get the business to work for you rather than you're working for the business, because otherwise you're going to be the one stuck with essentially a load of little jobs in the business, rather than really being able to be strategic. I think on that topic, for business leaders that are saying, okay, right, I get it. I've got to let go of more of these tasks. I've got to be more strategic in my business. I've got to take those opportunities to, like you said with Mike, growing from 6 million to, I think it was probably, you gave it in US dollars, but it's like 6 million to 30 million revenue growth. That's the kind of scale of potential that's possible. what else needs to be in that business owner's toolkit so that they can deliver those kind of results? Clearly, part of it is being able to let go of those jobs, the low value, the low skill work, as you say, in that matrix, and moving through that journey. What else are they going to need on that journey?
Okay. Delegation is a critical part of that toolkit, isn't it? Knowing how to delegate effectively, clearly critical. So we talked about that process of delegation, and I could go into that. But let's look at the high level kind of skill sets. The mindset is a critical part of that toolkit. The mindset of a business owner versus the business doer. Planning, goal setting, having clarity of goals, and then turning those goals into plans, and then being able to chunk those plans into bite-sized chunks. So we talk about taking long-term goals, breaking them down into annual into 90 days, and 90 days into weekly steps, and using the weekly steps as the units that are managed and measured to drive out the actions. Then there's the discipline and focus, right? Because we can all have good intentions, but we might not have the discipline of doing it. I get. Look, if I wanted to change my health and fitness, for example, I can join a gym. I can hire a personal trainer. They can give me a program. But if I'm not in there doing the reps day in, day out, then the results aren't going to come, and I'll just have excuses rather than results. So a lot of the coaching that I do is around the challenge of holding my clients' feet to the fire to say, that's the plan we agreed. That's what you committed to doing. That was the homework action last time. Share with me the result of that. What's got done? What's not got done? What's getting in the way? What's stopping you? And let's deal with that. And holding them accountable to driving that action. Then there's another part of this is the identity shift that we make, which is going from the technician to the manager to the business owner, the entrepreneurial ladder, if you like. And it's working on. It's working on developing those capabilities that are essential for you to become the conductor of the orchestra, not the person playing all the instruments. So people management skills, financial management skills, communication skills. Your focus becoming developing the people and the processes and the strategies, and getting them to drive the implementation, not you having to come up with all of that. So there's that cycle of business. The business owner focused on getting the right people on the right seats, pointing in the right direction. They operate the systems of the business. The systems fulfill the customer's requirement, and the customers return the profits and the cash to you as a shareholder, and you stepping out, being the hub, and all the spokes coming off you. So the answer to your question around what tools they need, there's a whole stack of them, and that's the work that we need to get business owners to do and increasingly focus on if they're really going to realize the potential of their business and their own potential, is stretching that and growing that and making that happen, which is some of the things that I talked about. Learning how to learn is a big one, right? I insist that the people that work with me, that the way we're going to accelerate progress, not by using coaching sessions from me to impart the information to them. No, okay, the topic is this. go and read this or watch this or do this, and then when you've thought about how you can apply it to your particular challenge, your need, bring that back to me next session, and we'll look at the results of that. Not let me spend the next 90 minutes giving you all the information, giving you all the answers. No, learning how to learn and learning how to accelerate that is a key tool. Don't know if that goes to answer your question.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I love also the way that you set up those various things that you need to be able to do as a leader, as a business owner, goes a long way to essentially give leaders the clarity on where you want to be spending your time instead. Because as we've kind of talked about, there's a temptation when you're stuck in the business, when you're tied to it, is to think, well, I can't get out because, these tasks require me, which I covered in a previous episode where I talked about, like, anything can be delegated and how it's completely BS when people say they can't, but like it absolutely can. But then I think at the other end of the spectrum, which is what we've kind of majored on here, is that fear around, but what will I do instead? And I love how you've set out, here's all the things. Like, there's plenty of things as a business owner, exciting, strategic things that you can do when you free up your time to that, and you need to do to develop the culture and all these things. And I think when a business leader appreciates that and actually commits to doing it and gets support from a coach like yourself to be accountable to it and learn and accept that it won't be an easy journey because they're learning new skills, but it's going to be a really worthwhile one that ultimately enables them to create a business that aligns with the life that they really want to live. For people listening, what would you say is the key takeaway that you want people to take away when they're thinking about trying to align that business to the life that they want?
I think you just said it. For me, if there's one thing, the starting point of this whole process is get aligned. Find a way of getting super clear about what it is you want, what it is important to you, both in life and in the business. Because we only have one shot at this, and we only have a short time. This isn't a dress rehearsal. Get really clear about that and your purpose, because I think everything else can flow from that. Why am I doing this? What am I trying to achieve? What's the end I've got in mind? How am I going to get, what strategies are available to me? What help do I need? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do differently? Get into that. Because I think if we get that right, foundationally, everything else comes out. And then people like me, people like you, we've got the framework, we've got the approaches, we've got the systems. You can get help in so many different ways once you get that clarity. But you need somebody that can help you get that clarity in the first place, help create the roadmap, and then somebody that can maybe help you on that journey. So that would be my kind of wrap up message. Is that alignment, the clarity, then the focus, then the action.
Love it. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sanjiv. And I'll make sure in our show notes we link to your website and your profile on LinkedIn. Any other ways in which people should reach out, connect with you, learn more from you, anything that you'd suggest?
No, the LinkedIn and website's fine. Sanjiv Dodhia at actioncoach.co.uk. That's Sanjiv, SANJIV DODHIA at actioncoach.co.uk. Feel free to email me. I'm happy to have a conversation with any business owner about their business and where they're trying to get to, and share some ideas, strategies, challenges, experience with them. Especially your readers, your audience. Happy to help.
Fantastic. Love it. Well, thank you so much, Sanjiv. And for everyone that's listening, if you're looking to free up time and so that you can scale your business, then you'll get a lot of value in addition to connecting with Sanjiv and following him on LinkedIn, because I love the post that he shares there. But also we ran a masterclass on how to free up 15 hours per week and unlock growth. You can find out more and get access for free at airmanual.co @AirManual.com/webinar. Otherwise, one final thing before you go, please do take a minute, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a review, share it on social media, tag us in, or just do one of those, please. Because I know that people get value from these podcasts. I know that lots of people listen to them, and I hugely appreciate all of that. But I don't always see it other than in the stats. So please show some love for it, show some appreciation for Sanjiv taking the time, share his insights, share it on social media, tag us in. We'd really, really appreciate it. And ultimately, it'll help more people as well. But otherwise, Sanjiv, thank you so much for your time today. Everyone else, until next time, have fun.